My baby looking too good, yeah, she perfect. No, she worth it. When she pull up, all them man, them flirting. And yeah, she know that she a dime. Call up on my line. Told her, baby, bring it one time. Yeah. Girl, sit down and relax. Girl, let me put it on you, no time for chit.
Yo, what's really good though? It's your girl Yezzir. You are locked into another banging episode of Hey Sis UK. Any others out there? Fake. Now, before we go any further, I gotta let you know we got a couple house rules. House rule number 1: are you drinking out of a Hey Sis mug? Let me show you what we're working with. Okay, you ain't watching an episode of Hey Sis UK if you're not drinking out of the best mug in town. Links are below. You can get it. We got the other variations. We got clothing. We got all that good stuff. What else have we got going on? Yes. HeySis_UK is where we are on Instagram. Follow. That's where the familia is. We got Hey Sis UK on Spotify. We got me, your girl, your big sis, your little sis, your sis from another mister, your sis from another race. It doesn't matter. I'm your sister. Yezzi.Yezzir is where you find me on TikTok. On today's episode, when people do approach me, and shout out to my sisters and my brothers that do, there's something that you keep saying, there's something that you say is your personal fave. And that's the work episodes. And today we're going to be talking up the things. We're talking red flags in the offices. I'm going to say it. I might not say it all. We might have to break this down. I don't know. But I'm pumped and I'm ready to go. Now, the reason why I want to talk about red flags in the office is because this. I know it's hard times. I know to come about even a decent job isn't easy. But just before you click and add your signature to that job offer, just before it, because I need to get this one off my chest. I know it's hard times. I know to come across even a decent job isn't easy. But just before you add your signature to that job offer, or while you're in your probationary period, okay, in that 6-month period, I need you to go on glass doors. Because I used to go to places and think, am I whining? Am I asking for too much? Maybe it's just me. Maybe this is normal. And it's always after I've got the job and I'm already here and I've already got a rhythm and a routine and commitments. And then when I go on glass doors, yeah, and I see the reviews, I'm like, okay, it's not just me. I used to work in a place here that was called the Baptism of Fire. Yeah, that sounds about right, because it was hell on earth. And I kept thinking to myself, maybe it's just me. It's not just me. I went on glass doors and I saw people describing this place in ways that I couldn't have imagined. I said, wow, I thought I had it bad. It was bad, but it can get a lot worse, yeah. And the thing is, when you are in spaces and environments that aren't owned, and I'll say this, yeah, if you are someone that looks like me and you want to work in a company, you want to actually rise in the ranks, you want to progress, you want to do what people will expect to do when you're employed, you know, evolve, grow, improve. Aim to go for American-owned companies or companies that are owned by Irish. Yeah, that's about it. Because one of the first red flags, and we'll be chopping and screwing, okay? If you want to get your pen and pad, if you want to enjoy, if you're at your desk, put your headphones on and increase the volume for your good sis. The Honourable Yezzir has come to the platform because we have to talk up the things. First red flag in a company. If you get a job offer and you want to know about the company, just go to the company website. Remember, a company website is their idea of putting their best foot forward. So when you go to the website, you see how they see themselves, how they want to be represented. Now, if you look like me and you get a job offer and you're contemplating on whether or not to accept the job offer, and you go to the company website and the company website shows people, and you go to different departments and the contact us and meet the team, and nobody looks like you, that's not a good sign. Because if it was the 1990s or early 2000s, I would have said, you know what, maybe I have to be the first one. But if it is, I want to say 2012, 2015, 2016, 2025 we're in now. If you go to a company website, You go to the meet the team page and you see the team and you go across different departments and nobody there looks like you. It's not going to end well. It's not a good sign. And I hate to be the one to say it, but it's the truth, because one of the first red flags to see in a company is that if you don't see any black people in any senior leadership roles, that's an indicator to you that the role you're in now, you better be happy doing that to the age of retirement, or you get what you need and you move on, because they've already told you from the jump, if you think you're going to progress here, you got another thing coming. That's not what we signed up for. We got you here because it makes us look good. We got you here because you're comfortable, you're palatable. But we don't see anything in you. We're not trying to invest in you or be realistic. There's no spaces for you in see the leadership roles and, you know, actually managing things and overseeing things and maybe being a stakeholder. Oh, don't you go and deceive yourself now. Because there are companies that their purpose isn't to grow and diversify and scale up. No. Their goal is to make enough money to have the power to do things their way. Because some companies, if you get too big, you have rules to abide by and third-party people coming in and regulators coming in and saying this is how things need to be done. If you want to be able to take the mick out of people and keep a company in a culture that is something that serves you, not anyone from a culture that doesn't serve you, but your culture, you'll make sure to keep it small and profitable. Small enough to tell people to go on their way without you getting any backlash, but big enough to say, okay, this is what we've been doing for X amount of years. We're still in profit. We still make money. We don't need anybody coming in or buying in. Let's keep it private. Why should we be public? And that way we don't get scrutinized on a bigger platform. So that's the first red flag. If you are getting a job offer and it seems a bit too good to be true, look at the website. A company's website is their first instance, their first impression, and they're telling you, not you telling them, they are telling you how we want things to look. And if nobody looks like you on that company website, it's a red flag. I'm just telling you, you might not want to hear it, but that's how it is. A second red flag is that if a company always keeps quiet on matters of race. So we're talking about things might happen in your area. There's no email that goes out to say, you know what, our thoughts are with, people going through this at this point in time. Any of our employees that come from these backgrounds, X, Y, Z, like let's just say Afro-Caribbean, we have resources that we'd love to let you know is accessible, whether it be therapy or things like that. Cool. Because it shows care. It shows that you care about your employees. It shows that there's some type of care of duty. You're doing your due diligence to make sure you retain your black and brown employees. Another thing I want to say in regards to not speaking up on matters of race is that I've noticed that some companies will clearly have that time of the year come round, which is Black History Month. I know it makes a lot of employees feel uncomfortable, black, but it's called Black History Month. And there'll be no initiatives. You might do an initiative for St. Patrick's Day, St. George's Day, cycle this, breast cancer awareness, that, and I love all of it. I love it. Let's bring the awareness. Let's bring people together. Pancake Day, you do it all. And then October comes round and it's silent. We have nothing going on in regards to Black History Month. Now, they could say that, it's not our responsibility to put any initiatives together, but you put initiatives together for every other day in the year. Men's Mental Health Awareness Day, all these things that are going on, all these things. But Black History Month makes you lot shake. I don't get it. And when I say you, I mean employers from any background that refuses to see their black and brown employees. Cool. October comes around. Employers don't mention anything about Black History Month. No initiatives, no get-togethers, nothing. And they'll say things like, we don't have the knowledge or, we can't speak on things like that to put it together. Okay. Put a board together then, dedicated for black and brown employees. Yes, I said it. Because you will have a lot of initiatives of diversity and inclusion, but you only talk about diversity inclusion when it's gender. You never talk about diversity inclusion when it comes to race. And I don't know why. Do you feel uncomfortable talking about race? Does race make you feel obligated to now do something about a topic that you don't care for? Because let's be honest, if you're not made uncomfortable by race, if you don't face any type of prejudice, why would you bother yourself fighting for something that you don't have to fight for as an individual? If anything, it's easier to not have to deal with that, because that's a lot. So you see companies go, oh, we're doing some initiatives, we're doing some, workshops on diversity and inclusion. I'm there thinking, okay, let's go through the emails. Okay. Gender. Oh, nothing about race. I mean, that would be one of the pillars of any diversity and inclusion rollout. No, race? We're not talking about it? I guess I'm the bad guy. Next up, when we are talking about red flags in a company, retention rate. I want you to ask your hiring manager, off the top of your head, what are your retention rate percentages? And before you answer, I'm talking about black and brown people. Yes, people from black and brown backgrounds. Because what happens is, and a lot of companies are doing it, so keep your eyes peeled, there will be a huge window of onboarding of black people. They'll bring them on. They'll be hiring like no man's business. You thought, damn, I didn't know we had the budget for this. You start to look around like, okay, sis, all right, bro. Okay, this company's a good company. Okay, they seem to hire based on talent and merit. Talent, merit, things that you would think are things of the past, but I guess it's here to stay. So there'll be a window of onboarding to the point where you think, hold on, this is a bit too good to be true. And then that's that window that you see everyone starts to drop off like flies. And let me tell you something. When you see emails from people that have left a company, left or have been asked to leave, or either one of the options, if you get an email from someone who isn't the person that left, just know that they've been told to go, and there's a little bit of hush money in the back pocket. A little bit of, we don't want to take this to any kind of court. Because if someone has been at a company and it's been a decent experience, that person would have the opportunity to have meetings. They'll have a thing called an exit interview, where people from, HR will say, how was your experience? How can we improve? Things like that. And you'll happily give feedback because you genuinely want to see the company grow. But if there has been a bit of friction, you'll see maybe the hiring manager or anyone else from that department say, oh, so-and-so has decided to leave and they will be missed and they have been here from this date to that date and we wish them all the best. Because they don't want to risk that person writing the email to everybody else in the department, because some people might be called out of their name. I don't know. It might be an unsavory email. I don't know. But if you notice in a company, and let's go away from race just for a minute though. We ain't going to go away from it for too long. But I'll say this. If you're working in a company, log the point at when you entered the company and give it about a 1 year period and see how many people are coming into the company and see how many people leave. Because you see that revolving door, it's very telling to the culture, because a lot of companies will use these trigger words of, the culture we have here is like we're a family, everyone gets on so well. Let me talk to my black people. Okay, we're back now. Boom. Black people, you with me? Cool. You want to work? That's great. You want a career? You want to work for a company? Very nice. Little heads up and a red flag. Try to avoid companies, especially if they're going to be privately owned. Avoid companies where it's, and I mean as in, not everybody knowing everybody for an appropriate amount of time in a company, 5, 10 years, whatever. No, I'm talking about a lot of people that are related or they met their husband or wife at that company. Because you find that companies where they say, oh, my mum works here, my dad works here, my sister works in the department down the road, it means that if you ever have an issue with them, HR will never have your back. And we know, general rule of thumb is that HR works for the company, they don't work for you. We get it. But I mean as in, they are bosom buddies with HR. You are out that door quicker than you can say farewell. So if you notice people saying, oh yeah, I'm related to at least more than 2 people in the company, don't waste your time. Another red flag, if you are to work in a company and you want to, dare I say, balance your work and life. I mean life after 5 o'clock, where you have a partner, you have friends, you have family, you have hobbies. If you see a lot of people at the company say, oh, you know what, I met my wife at this company. And then for some reason, every time you hear someone meet their now partner at a company, they were always in a relationship. So it's like, seems like there was a bit of overlapping. There are no morals. The same person that met their husband or wife at the company, it's always convenient that that person no longer works at the company. They've kept them in the house and now they're back at work because they now have a work wife or a work husband. Because how have your morals changed that quickly? If you were the same person that was in a quote unquote relationship when you entered a company and you conveniently, found your happily ever after with your now husband or wife, does that mean you're going to stop looking while you're at work? Yo, listen, we're ready to do an episode, a banging one at that. But you haven't liked, you haven't subscribed, and I know you haven't dropped a comment. I want to know what you want to see me talk about, especially when I bring my sisters and brothers to the show. And you better be watching this episode drinking out of the only thing you should be drinking out of. That's the Hey Sis mug right here. Okay, I think that's enough time. Ooh, it's not, because you haven't signed up to our mailing list. We got the website coming out, www.heysisuk.co.uk. Join the familia officially. Okay, now let's get back to the episode. I don't think it works like that. And the sickening thing that's happening in a lot of offices now is that you get a lot of married people hooking up with other married people at work. And what they do, because they're really smart about this. Let me tell you something. If you think you've got a husband or wife at work and you think, oh, they just love their job so much. No, they don't love their job. Their lover is at their job. So they will do things like, oh, we are just a great company. We love each other so much. So we're going to book a holiday. Holiday twice a year. Holiday 3 times a year. And typically it'll be somewhere in Europe. It'll be like a Spain. It'll be in Italy. Not too far, but far enough for you to not bump into them and far enough for them to do what they want to do. So they'll book a trip with them. They'll always go to the pub with them. They'll always find activities to spend time with them. Sometimes, and I've seen this happen, where they will play right in your face. And they'll meet not Monday to Friday, even on a Saturday, and have dinner. Oh, bring your partner. We'll all have one big dinner. Because if you want to look like you're not cheating, the best way to cheat is to cheat in plain sight. And I tell you what, some of the best cheaters are people in suits, are people in the offices, because you will literally be introduced to their lover and there's nothing you can say. You can't speculate it, because your traditional idea of cheating is hide and seek. It's the people you will never see, the people you don't expect. You have to find it. No. People that work a 9 to 5 and always like to extend their 9 to 5 and be there from 8 to 8 or 8 to 6 are the ones that will cheat in plain sight. Those are the ones that make you look like you're crazy, because it's like, what? What, Susan? What? Anne? I can never do that to her. No, she's just a mate. Yeah, she's a mate, all right. She's a mate you like to do things with. Let's be so real, so frank, because there ain't no way you're going to be in an office that you got to travel an hour to get to, spend about 6 to 8 hours there. Then you still want to do an additional 2 to 3 hours in the pub, go home and do the same thing again, but then you will swear blind that you got a life outside of work. It looks like you're using one life to escape another life. Or you could just be trying to have your cake and eat it. I think we know the answer to that one. But let's come back to the red flags. So where we at now? We spoke about red flag number 1. Before you accept the contract or within your probationary period, go over to Glassdoor or whatever the equivalent is to a review about an employer or a company. Read them and make sure you look at how early they are, because some of them will scare you. Some are like 3 months ago, a couple weeks ago, a year ago. A year ago is still very valid, because a lot of companies, it takes about, I want to say 3 years to really do a rollout and change the structure of things. You might have to do some hiring and some firing for certain work environments to be, healthy. So it's not going to take a year to turn a company around. I'd say minimum 3 years. Cool. So, number 1, make sure you look at any type of equivalent review pages. Number 2, check their website. If the website doesn't reflect you in any way, I'm talking race and gender, you might want to pass on it. Number 3, look at their teams. Look at the senior roles. Don't even look at like the junior roles. Look at the senior roles. If there is no one that looks like you in a senior role, it means that they really aren't doing any type of progression over here. Because, sorry to say it, but even if you were to do the 1-drop rule, if that's not even implemented in a company, forget about it. Point number 5, it could be 4 or 5, I don't know, is to look at the retention rate of a company. So whether you ask at the interview stage, what's the retention rate like? And I've asked this before and they always go, oh, we've got Michael here that's been here for 20 years. And we got Luke here that's been here for 15 years. And I ain't trying to talk to the people who are freaking related. I'm saying people that look like me. Who is the person that looks like me that has been in your company the longest? And if the hiring manager can't say to you, oh, we have someone with a similar background to yourself and they've been here for X amount of years, I want to hear 5 years tops. And if I don't hear that, see ya, because I know there's no place for me here. Cool. And then the next point after that one in regards to retention, red flag number 6, we are waving that flag, is when we talk about not going for private companies that they're all sleeping together. Okay, let me be serious. Not going for private companies where there's a lot of people that are related, and it can be through, blood, it can be through marriage. If you see a lot of people saying, I'm a mom, my dad, uncle, brother, sister, red flag, abort mission. If you see people that go, oh yeah, my wife used to work for the company, I met my husband at the company, it means that they spend a lot of hours there. So it gets to a point where you're like, I might as well just, buddy up, partner up with someone here because I see them more than I would the person that I'm dating outside of work. That's what happens when you put your career first. And I'm not even talking about some of these careers, they ain't all that, but some people put their career first and they try to think, okay, how can I get everything I need to work around my job? Now that's dangerous territory we're going into. So a lot of people will change their whole life to fit around their place of work. They will date someone from work. They will make friends at work, as in their only friends. They will move to live near work. The day that job leaves you and everything comes crashing down in your mind because you factored everything in your life around the fact of this is where I'm going to be at. To the point of retirement. I can't imagine anything outside of this. Very dangerous to the mental. I don't know if you want to do that unless you're guaranteed. For example, nepotism of some sorts, marriage, something like that can make you feel confident enough to take that kind of risk. But if you are someone that doesn't come from a number 1 affluent background, someone that comes from a ethnic group that is not the power players, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't fashion your life around a job, because you might see it as a career path. But if you are from, again, a background that isn't the most favorable in certain industries, as in, industries that lack a lot of old money, or you're someone that is from a black and brown background, I wouldn't take the risk of uprooting your whole life for what you think is a career. But to them, it's a job. To them, you're an NI number. To them, they can go to wherever and say, oh, we hired, and this is what a lot of companies do, the dodgy ones, yeah. They'll say, oh, we hired X amount of people from this economical background. We hired X amount of people from these ethnic groups. We hired X amount of people from these, sexual orientations or gender. Yeah, but you didn't say how long they were there for. You didn't say, yeah, you hired Shanice from Lewisham, but Shanice was only there 6 months to a year. You hired Jide, but you put Jide on freaking PIP. Like, you told Jide, oh yeah, your probationary period is X amount and that's been extended. When you're saying you hire black and brown people and you hire people from certain backgrounds, I'm going to need you to come with all the receipts, as in we want percentages, we want numbers, we want years. They were here from this point to that point. In what position did they leave in? Did they progress? Were they ever promoted? That's why we got to see the senior leadership team. Meet the team. I'm looking for the team. I'm looking. No one that looks like me. Hint, hint. Another red flag you want to look out for is when a company forces their culture on you. And I'm talking about, I'll say this. When we're talking about culture, we're talking about, for example, England is known for their drinking culture. I'll say England is known for having an excessive drinking culture. So if you go to a company and they force excessive drinking on you, that is something that you have to say to yourself in the long run, is this something that I want to prescribe to? Because the scariest thing, yeah, and this is another red flag here, and I really mean this, yeah. If you can go to a company, yeah, and you can see pictures of people on the website, and you go to an interview, maybe in the building, whatever, and those people look very different to how they looked a couple years back. And I'm not talking about age, because it's age. Naturally, you're going to age with time. But you can tell how good a company is based on how well people age while they're there. There's some people, I've seen them from when they started, how old they are now, or how many years they've been at the company for, and you think, oh my gosh, they are running you ragged. What the heck? It's a telltale sign, because there are people that will go along with things and they don't even want to go along with that. Why? They have responsibilities. They've got a mortgage, cost of living, they got kids. So they got to do everything they need to do. They are dancing, they are tap dancing, and they are doing that fiddle for a salary. I've never been a tap dancer. I can't do the fiddle. I can't do it. And sometimes when I see my black and brown people in a corporate space and they are dancing and fiddling, they are playing with that fiddle for massa, I look at them and I cry inside. I cry inside because I'm like, you don't have to do this. Especially, and I'm going to say it, we are in a welfare state, and we are in a country where you can take your passport and you can be great anywhere else around the world. So why the hell you would choose to be dancing for massa and playing on a fiddle in this little cold rock of an island in one busted company? I will never know. I will never know. But a lot of us, I'll say, if you're not coming from affluent backgrounds and maybe you're first gen British born and you've got, African or Caribbean parents who are grateful to be here. They're grateful to be here. They will come with a mentality of, oh, I'm coming from this country. Sometimes it can typically be a third world country. And I've made it to the yellow brick road of England. So this is a vast improvement for me. But remember, you were born here. So where your parents' peak is, or where they feel like it's an improvement, it's just your starting block. You don't have to be similar to them in having that viewpoint. You can have higher dreams and aspirations, and you can have the right to say, this might be great for you, but for me, this is subpar. I can aim higher. Allow me to do that. Or you know what? Forget the word allow. Tell your parent, I can do better. Because no disrespect, this might be your peak, but this is just my starting point. Respectfully.
Don't forget to subscribe to Hey Sis UK so you never miss out on an episode.
So yeah, brothers and sisters, I'm probably going to do another episode breaking down a couple more things, but I'll leave you with that for now. Just to round up on some final takeaways. I haven't done a final takeaway in a while, but final takeaway is this. If you financially can get by on a little now, so you can aim for the opportunities that you know you'll be happy with. And when I say get by with a little, as in if you're still living with parents, take time and choose what you want to do and where you want to be. You don't have to be desperate and take the first job offer. Even practice. Apply for jobs, even when you don't need the job. Go for interviews. Get the offer of employment and negotiate. See if you can get 5,000 more, 10,000 more, 15,000 more per annum. Why not? See if you can negotiate a hybrid position, a remote position. Why not? Because you can do that. So if you can get by with a little to get what you want, do it. Even if you have to move back home, because who are you trying to impress? If you are just coming out of university, you don't always have to go for the first job that's paying you X amount in a set job. Go for the internship in your dream company and work your way up. Go for the apprenticeship in your dream industry and work your way up. Stop being so fast. I'm sorry to say I'm your sis. Stop being so desperate. Time, and a lot of heavy capitalist societies will tell you, time. People, especially this country, England loves to scaremonger you with the term time. Exchanging work for time for money. But for once, behave in a way that you truly believe that time is on your side. Yeah, England does like to scaremonger you with the concept of time and running out. But if you have that mindset and say time is on my side and I control my time, you can start to put yourself in positions where you know you deserve to be in. Positions where you're not tolerated. You gotta be appreciated, man. So, before I go, you know what you need to do. You need to subscribe, stop being so stingy. You need to like, you need to drop a comment, you need to be following us where the family is at. It's HeySis_UK. Spotify, HeySisUK. Your girl, Yezzir, Yezzi.Yezzir on TikTok. And listen, this might be the worst, the best kept secret. That's not a secret, but I'm going to let you in. Come. We have www.heysisuk.co.uk. That's right. We're bringing the family all in one place. So many things I can't say now, but sign up, join, and all will be revealed very soon. Until then, I want to let you know that you've been listening and watching another banging episode of Hey Sis. Make sure you stay blessed. Bye.
Girl, let me put it on you, no time for chit chat. Because she move like a queen and I like what I see and I wanna get more of that.
I undress and he blows success. Lay down as you decompress. Come mine and forget the stress. Got the 9 to 5 cause he tryna change his life. He can't help it but to show his bad side. So you call me Yezzi when he want that good ride. Follow my stride, you know you want a good time. Pick any card, I know it won't decline. He know how to please me, never tease me. Keep me in Givenchy, laced in Gucci.